Right. Getting all of the pieces set up here. So we've got Instagram going, we've got LinkedIn going, and we got Facebook going. So this is my first time to do StreamYard across so many different platforms, having all these different social accounts at once. So hopefully all of you are finding us and figuring it out. Yeah, because it is not in the actual event online. So here we go. I'm going to wait a few minutes to see who jumps on with us. See how it's going. We got Monday morning. Monday. We are doing our Facebook Live, Instagram Live, LinkedIn Live. While I wait just a couple minutes for everybody to get on, I'm going to check my LinkedIn and see that it's going live there. Yay, it is going live there. Whoop, whoop. Working everywhere. Beautiful. So again, I'm going to wait just a couple minutes so that everybody gets a chance to remind themselves that we are here, that we are doing this today, because I want you all to have a chance to do it with me. So if you are tuning in live and you are in a place where you are seated and you're not driving or you're not just listening, get a piece of paper, get a notebook, get something to work with, because we are going to do a little quick exercise. This came about because I've seen so many people posting their word for the year, and that's kind of become a thing over the past few years. And a lot of people are just, reaching into the hat and pulling out a word. It might be aligned to what they want to create or what they're hoping to create. And oh, yeah, I see someone from Pennsylvania, Erie, PA. I see you, Tracy. And so it's been interesting to me to kind of witness, how are we picking those. How are we picking that word? Are we just kind of like, oh, this is what I hope I create this year, this is what I need to create this year, this is the focus I need to have this year, versus what tends to happen, which is what's going on subconsciously, what's going on in the back of your mind at the unconscious part of your brain, and how is that focused. And the exercise that we're going to work through today, it's fast, it's easy, it's fun, and it's how to uncover your intrinsic, your subconscious power word for the year. And my business partner and friend Irina brought this over. They actually did it in Russia. She's Russian, if you don't know, my favorite Russian on Instagram. And but it's based in Carl Jung's work, who is an infamous psychiatrist and psychologist. So it's really fascinating. And all of our clients do it. All of our customers and students have done it. We do it on our live mastermind calls with our student community at the beginning of every year, and they just love it. So I've waited a few minutes here to give people time to get on, because I want you to be able to work through it with me as we go. And of course, if you're catching the replay, follow along, pause it as needed. But otherwise, those of you who are joining me live, again, you are going to need a piece of paper. So before we move on into that, let's find out, what do you think your word is currently? What are you focusing on right now? What word have you already put out into the universe? What word? I mean, many of you have been posting it on Facebook. Some of you have posted it on your LinkedIn's, or you've just shared it with friends. So if you're joining me live, take a second, type in the chat for me, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, and let me know, what is the word? I'm going to look on LinkedIn here. What is the word that is currently resonating for you, that you've chosen as your word? And again, because, I gotta mute myself here. There we go. What is your word right now? Because it'll be fascinating for me to see how your subconscious word and your currently intentional word match up, or if they end up being the same. because a lot of people that we've done this with, their word doesn't end up being the same, but they end up supporting each other or being like really aligned. So I see a couple. I've got Tracy says intentional. Kelly says lean in. Her word this year is lean in. I love it. I'm waiting to see if I get any other words. And if you haven't chosen a word yet, what word comes to mind? Like, what's the first thing that you think of about, oh man, that would be a good one for me to go towards this year, right? And then we're going to get into this and start to play with this and find out what your word is. So let's do this. So the first thing you got to do is take the word infinity and write it top to bottom or bottom to top, however, but write it down a piece of paper. And I will say this, notice how my paper is turned landscape. Hey, Shelly. You can see how my paper is turned landscape style. It's not just because it's a presentation on PowerPoint, which it is, but it's also because we're going to be traveling across the page. So make sure you give yourself room. So again, write the infinity word, INFINITY. If you're driving, if you're just listening, then just kind of think about it. I see Fred's got abundance, beautiful. Love these words. These are great words, by the way. I'm going to give you about 30 more seconds just to write the word infinity. What's up, Elwood? I see you, Miss Olivia. Yes, hi, Shelly. Yay, people. Good stuff. All right, so again, infinity written down. Now, the next piece is that we have to take each one of those letters and make them into a word. And here's the thing. Trust whatever word wants to come up. It doesn't matter. It can be a person, place, or thing. It can be a town. It could be an adjective. It can be an adverb. Like, it doesn't matter. Whatever word comes to your mind, trust it, write it down. There is no right answer. There is no wrong answer. And that is what makes this exercise really fascinating. Write whatever word, the first word that comes to your mind. And so you can see my examples here. Infamous, new, feeling, integrity, national, insight, talent, yearning. Those are the words that came up for me. So take a moment and start to create a word off of each one of these letters as you go. And so I'm going to give you a few minutes, maybe like a minute since we are live. I did put down 45 minutes for this, but that's because normally I would pause quite a long time to let everybody I'm working with finish. But it's usually on Zoom or in person where I can see how things are going. I don't really have that much interaction with y'all other than the comments. So I'm going to keep talking just a little bit while you're thinking. If you want to drop in the chat, finished or done, and let me know, beautiful. And if not, that's okay too. But our goal is to get a word for each letter. A word for I, a word for N, and everybody's like, oh, too many I's, too many N's. It's not. Just trust whatever word you want to come up with. Any word. Thank you, Tracy. Whatever word comes up. Tracy is done. Kelly's done. Thanks for the feedback, y'all. It's helpful. And I can tell that y'all are not overthinking it because it was like, boom, we got it done. Whereas some people are like, which word should I choose? I'm like, dude, just go with whatever comes up. Trust yourself. Whatever word, it doesn't matter. It's going to be amazing either way. Shelly's done. I see you. Fred, you done? Let's see what you got. I'll give y'all about another 20 seconds and then we'll keep going. All right. So as you can see, there's those little brackets with the words. So the next step is taking those words and making a new word. So for example, infamous and new, we're going to put those two words together. And if those two words had a word baby, what would that word be? And now I don't mean take half of infamous and half of new and create a word that doesn't exist in reality. I mean, when you think about infamous and when you think of new, or when you get like a visualization of infamous and you get a visualization of new, and you were to imagine those two things coming together, those two concepts, those two words, what thing does it make you think of? And you're going to do that for all of them. So infamous and new will make a new word. Feeling and integrity will make a new word. National and insight. So these are my words. So I'll say it differently. I and in will make a word The F and the I will make a word. The N and an I will make a word, and the T and the Y, depending on what you came up with. So for example, I put infamous and new, and for some reason the word I got was rising. That's the word I got. And I just chose to trust the word that came up for me. And then we've got feeling and integrity. For me, that came up as embodiment. Why not? So, what did those two words, when they come together, mean to you? How do they feel to you? What kind of thoughts do they create? And what comes up for you? This one takes a little bit longer to figure out for most people because you're kind of trying to smush them together in some way. So while y'all are thinking about that, for those of you who don't know, my name is Jen Hardy. I am a transformational speaker and coach, as well as NLP trainer. I'm also the COO of the Academy of Motive Action, where we support people to make dramatic change in their life because we believe that change doesn't happen just by accident. It happens by choice, change, and action. And we host retreats, immersive retreats to support people to get out of their own damn way and create a life that they truly love. And again, that starts with choice to make that happen, creating the change, understanding how to maintain the change, and taking the actions to do so. All right, give me some feedback to my peoples, Fred, Shelly, Kelly, Tracy, who've been interacting with me. What kind of feedback you got for me? So we've taken infinity, we came up with some new words, then we're taking those two words and putting them together. Fred's done, love it. So that we are now down to 4 words. If you're just joining me, welcome. You're also welcome to watch the replay later on to get the full picture, but we are discovering our power word for 2024 by doing an exercise from Carl Jung. And what we did is took the word infinity, created some words off of each letter, as you can see here in the visual. Then we took 2 words, put them together, and if they made a word baby, what would that word be? And now we're about to do it again. So we're going to take 2 words. In my case, my examples were rising and embodiment, and then growth. And I can't even see my other word, in demand. And now put those together to come up with a new word. So when I put rising and embodiment together, for me, I got intuition. That's what came up for me. That's what made sense to my brain. So that's what I went with. And then for me, with growth and in demand, what came up for me was ascension, which, by the way, I had to look up what that even meant. The word came to my mind and I wrote it down and I was like, I don't even know what that means. Like, I know what it means, but I don't know what the definition is. So it was kind of fun to have a word come to me that I wasn't positive. What does that actually mean? How is that actually defined? Because sometimes the definition of a word is so much more aligned than we think it is if we don't know what the actual definition is, right? It's so fascinating to me. So we've got quite a few people working through here. And you probably guessed that you'll take those 2 words eventually and bring them together as well to get your final word. So we're working our way all the way down from 8 words to 4 words to 2 words until we end up with 1 word. And it's that 1 word that when we combine those last 2 together, whatever comes to mind is the word. You're stuck, Tracy. That's fair. Got it. Yeah. So just kind of play around with when I think about this, when I really go with like, okay, what does this word actually mean to me? And what does this word actually mean to me? And if those 2 things were to come together, or if those 2 things were to clash, if those 2 things were to start swirling and make sense and support each other, what would be on the other side? What would make sense? What might you see? What might you experience? What might happen? There's so many different ways to approach this. It just depends on how your brain chooses to make sense of it. Give me a thumbs up or a yes if that helped you at all, Tracy. And then again, you're going to get to your final word one way or another. And so what I want to know is, what is your final word? So those of you who are following me online, And if you've jumped in, got it, Tracy. Awesome. Those of you who are just jumping in and catching me a little late, it's a fast exercise. So if you want to join in, what you're seeing visually is my example. Those will not be your words. You come up with your own words. I'm giving you guys, those of you who are doing this with me live, Tracy, helpful but still stuck. I got it. It's okay. If you were to allow yourself to trust your unconscious mind and trust whatever wanted to be there, even if it doesn't make any damn sense at all, what might that be? Just let it be. Because there's nothing to do right. There's no way to do it wrong. So while I get everybody who's doing it with me to tell me what your word is, what you came up with in the end, I'm just going to remind anybody who's jumping in just now that we made words off of each one of these letters. This is my example. And then we started taking them by twos and making a word baby, marrying them together to come up with a new word. And then we married those together and married those together until we ended up with one word. You're doing beautifully. So I've got a few questions to ask you about the word you came up with, the one that actually ended up here. Because I can see like Kelly had lean in, and then you ended up with action. I mean, come on, Kelly. I mean, in my world, that makes sense. Fred, you had abundance before, and you've got authenticity here. I can tell you, in my experience, those two are intertwined. Shelly, you had brilliant, I believe. Yeah, you had brilliant, and here you've got truth. Right? Hey, Mark, I see yours. Enlightenment. I love it. So let's consider some things. Start with question one. Ignore the rest. When you see this word, whatever word you ended up getting, whatever it boiled down to, whatever showed up, whatever made sense. So Mark, enlightenment, Kelly, action, Shelly, truth, Fred, authenticity. What does this word actually mean to you? And just take a minute to journal that. When you think about this word, when you really feel in and lean into this word, what does this word mean to you? And then if you look at number two, how does it make you feel? And just really be, okay, Tracy landed at balance. Beautiful. Okay, good. I'm glad you got one. Fantastic. Which I love because you had intentional before and now you got balance. Again, in my world, those two make sense. So, what does this word actually mean to you? How does it make you feel? So, this is the opportunity to really intrinsically dig that word out of your soul and into current reality and how it's gonna really drive you forward. How does it make you feel? What insights, what knowledge, what ahas could this word offer you right now? What could it be showing you in terms of how it was created or how it was aligned with the words you had originally and the things you're thinking about doing this year, all of the goals you may have set or the goals that you're still figuring out? What insights could this word offer that really do make sense? And it's like, yeah, this is my word. So if you see, for example, for me, my word ended up being success, which may seem kind of like, but if any of you have heard of human design before, it's an energetic study of the human, it's the study of human energy, basically. And in human design, I'm considered a projector, which the projector is defined as being aligned in life when they experience feeling successful. So for me, getting the word success was like, oh my God, my word this year is success. And as a projector, I will know I'm fully aligned in what I'm doing in my life because I will experience success. So getting this as my word was beautiful. Not to mention mixing intuition with ascension. Like, yes, please. So going back to the questions, what does the word mean to you? How does it make you feel? What insights could it offer you? So in terms of the insight for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm headed towards a year of aligning myself. That's how it resonated with me. And how does it align? Number four, how does it align with what you want to create this year, what you desire to create this year? For me, getting success aligns with what I want to create this year because I do believe I'm fully stepping into my authentic power much more and more. And this year is just leveling it up on a whole nother level of where am I going next? Who am I going to be next? How am I going to continue to lean into who I know I am authentically, free of the fear of rejection and free of the fear of judgment, and just saying and being who I know I'm meant to be in the world. So it really does align for me. And then number five, because Academy of Motive Action, choice, change, action, right? How can you practice embodying this word? How can you practice, Fred, being authentic? Shelly, how can you practice truth? Kelly, how can you practice action? Mark, I feel like you practiced enlightenment today when you did yoga with me. Tracy, how can you practice balance? Where do you need to practice balance? Where do you need to practice authenticity, Fred? Where do you need to practice truth, Shelly? Where do you need to practice action, Kelly? Where do you need to practice enlightenment, Mark? Right? Like, what actionable places can you go take and look and do and experience these things? So unfortunately, I can't invite any of you to feedback with me. So if anyone is up for like getting on the keyboard and typing me some thoughts that I can read out, I would love to do that with you. Again, this normally, I put this down as 45 minutes because when I do this in person with people, there's a lot of interaction. There's back and forth and feedback, and you to me and me to you. And being across 3 platforms, I only get to see your comments. So this is moving really quickly. So if anyone wants to type me up some stuff, were you surprised? Were you excited by? Does this word, line up with what you already had in mind? Or, how was the exercise? What ahas did you get? Share something with me so that I get a little interaction, because otherwise I'm just going to say thanks for joining and peace out. And I'm not ready to go yet. So who's willing to get some typing and share some insights with me that I can read, since I can't pull you on live with me? I'm going to shut up for a second and see who can jump in. Tracy, yes, I love it. It's a little intimidating for me. I have never been able to maintain balance. Well, first of all, thank you for your authenticity, Tracy. She said consistency is a tough one. Got it. As a coach, as an NLP coach and a timeline therapy trainer, what I want to ask you is, when did you decide that consistency is tough? Right? That you've never been able to maintain balance, right? Those are decisions that we make, and they become belief systems that keep us stuck exactly where we are. And I love that you shared that. I'm so grateful for your authenticity. And just ask yourself, when did you decide those things? Because everything that we want to create in life is our choice, 100%, always. And it's just, what filter do we have on that is allowing or not allowing us to create exactly what it is that we know we want to create? Thank you so much for sharing. Who else? Kelly, Shelly, Fred, Mark, anyone willing to type something up for me? Some of you might be typing and I might just be impatient. Let's see. I'm going to say hi to some other people over here. I've got on Instagram, I see Holly. Oh, hi, Holly. I miss you. God, I haven't seen you in years, girl. Mike. Let's see who else is on here. Elwood. Hi, Olivia. I love that you're on here at all. Let's see. Kelly. Yay. Okay. Kelly said, this was helpful. It's a confirmation of what has been swirling in my head. And she said, I need to ponder these last questions and take action. Thank you for offering this opportunity today. I love it. Yeah. Again, totally fair, Kelly. This exercise usually takes a solid 45 minutes and lots of thoughts. So those of you, if you're feeling at all rushed, if you're feeling like, I need a minute, fair. Listen to it again. This is going to be posted. You'll be able to listen to the recording on your own time. I'm not going to delete it. It'll be on my Instagram. It'll be on my Facebook. It'll be on my LinkedIn as well. So you're welcome to rewatch it. Thank you, though, Kelly, for being willing to share. You're always engaged and always supportive. I love you. And Holly, yay. Hi, Holly. I saw your reply. So I'm going to wait just a second to see if anybody else wants to throw in a comment. See, Shelly. Thank you, Shelly. I feel like I always needed to be truthful with myself. I guess now that this is a now moment. Beautiful. Yep. So where are you not being truthful with yourself, Shelly? I know you know those games. Where do we not want to be truthful with ourselves, right? Where it will make the difference. So, hey, Mark, yay. Mark said the path to enlightenment is pure discipline. Discipline is another word for me. Change, action. Awesome. Awesome. I mean, you occur like a pretty disciplined guy to me, Mark, but I get that. Fred, what feedback do you have if this word feels too comfortable? Ooh, my feedback to you, Fred, would be how is having a word that's comfortable a problem? Success feels comfortable to me and in such an amazing way of like, sweet, this year doesn't have to be a struggle. Maybe this year could just be an easy ride, one where I still grow and I still have challenge, but it doesn't have to be hard. So the question that came up for me to ask you, Fred, is how's it a problem to be comfortable? Okay, not challenging enough to take new meaningful steps. Okay. How can you, okay, different question. What lens are you currently approaching that word from? How are you looking at it? Can you see it? Can you understand it? Can you zoom out or maybe zoom in and get a different perspective on the word? Where might you be missing what that word is trying to share with you that will create a challenge for you this year? Or maybe it's not meant to challenge you. Maybe it's just meant to be the theme for this year. What was because your original word was, where are you at? Fred's original word, was abundance. So I don't know what your new word is. Wait, yes, I do. Your new word is authenticity. What's coming up for me, Fred, is how do abundance and authenticity like mingle with each other? What is it about those two things together? Because you wrote that you consciously wanted to focus on abundance, but your unconscious mind is saying authenticity. So what's the give and take? What's the push and pull? What's the fluidity that needs to happen there? Is this helping at all? Let me know if this is helping at all. I've got another 15 minutes. I'm here for the coaching people. Getting the free coaching right now if you want it. Otherwise, we're going to take just a couple more minutes and I'm going to sign out. If anyone wants to share one of your action steps, and I could not say your name if you don't want me to, but I could share an action step if you want to. If there's anything else you want to share at all, please do. If this was at least eye-opening, made sense, gave you some insights to consider, let me know one more time. If you felt rushed, go back and do it on your own. Fred, thanks for the invitation to look at authenticity differently. Beautiful. Awesome, Fred. Thank you for the feedback, Fred. I appreciate that. And thank you for your interaction very much. Sweet. All right. Any last comments? I'm going to give you about 60 seconds to get your fingers typing. Because that's it. That's all I got for you because this is a fast exercise. So we give you a few seconds. If anybody, oh, yeah. Okay. No, I didn't miss that. Okay, good. If there's anything that I can do to support you with any of this, you're welcome to message me. Some of you that are on here have my cell phone number. If not, you're also welcome to reach out to me on any of these social platforms, or if there's just anything in general. Oh, Tracy. Okay. She said, this has been great. Thank you. Made sense and have actionable steps, plus a different way to think about my own ability to balance through self-discipline. Oh, you gave me goosies, Tracy. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. See, when you guys share and ask your own questions, it resonates for other people. Other people will get something through your shares. So thank you for being willing to interact. Thank you for being willing to play the game because this is a new one for me. I'm literally watching 3 different accounts at once right here, trying to make sure I get everybody as involved as I can. So again, thank you for taking some time with me today during lunch. feel free to share this with anybody that you think would find it interesting, because again, it'll be on all of the socials. If you're on Instagram with me, it'll be posted on Instagram. If you're on Facebook with me, it'll be posted on Facebook. If you're on LinkedIn with me, it'll be posted on LinkedIn. So you're welcome to tag somebody or share it to your own page or whatever you want to do to help people get involved with that. And yeah, if you're ever interested in knowing more about what I do and what we do at the Academy of Motive Action, these are the kind of fun things that we like to do, is to get into your unconscious mind and find out what's really driving you. More importantly, what's stopping you? How are you getting in your own way? Because goodness gracious, do we do that a lot, right? And building an emotional resiliency is another big one. Communication, relationships. That is the basis of our life, is the ability to communicate with others and build beautiful, strong relationships. And that's just something that fills our soul, is to be able to support you to create those. So, all right, I'm going to sign off. I don't see any new comments. So thank you so much for joining me live. Those of you who did, those of you who watched the replay, please drop a comment and let me know what happens in the replay, and let us know what your word ends up being once you complete it. Thanks again, and you guys have a fantastic, fantastic week.